Well, I'm here in Paraguay now for 4 years. I came to Paraguay October 1st and got to know my girlfriend here in the quarantine during Corona, and then we decided to buy this wonderful plot of land, 3.7 hectares, and we built 2 houses here, and we're living in one house and the other one we're renting out. That was the plan, and it's a very nice area, a lot of trees, a lot of nature. We've got a little bit of sandy road, but not too far away from the next town and from the next village. I actually decided to leave Switzerland. First of all, I actually wanted to travel. I wanted to visit different countries just for a couple of months, work from there, and then moving to another country in order to find the country where I want to live. And then the thing was COVID came with Corona. And so I had to speed things up, and it was clear that I want to go to Paraguay because when you check where you can go in this world, where you can work, where you can buy land legally, where you've got low taxes, where you've got a lot of freedom, it's kind of like the only place, or almost the only place showing up is Paraguay. There are many other places, but there you have to invest quite a lot of money. And in Paraguay, of course, you should bring money with you. That's what I definitely would recommend. But you can come here easily. We've got 2 houses, and it was a lot of work. And we're still kind of organizing certain things to make things nicer, more beautiful. For instance, a little garden is one of the next plans we're having. We are living just on the edge of a jungle. We don't have monkeys, but it's a lot of nature just on the edge of a jungle. And we've got our own wood, and it's amazing. The other thing which I really love here is you've got hills. In a lot of places in Paraguay, it's everything is even. So you can look for miles, kind of, and here you've got like those hills and all the nature, and that's the thing we really love it. We've got also all different kind of trees here, and we can use them as firewood to make posts, to create certain things, and just to make your piece of land more beautiful. 120 meters deep. And in this area, it's there's a lot of water. Nice. So we had that analyzed, and this is like the region where you find, this like number 2 in finding water here in Paraguay. So we got the pump at 60 meters, and we've got as much water we've got enough water for a complete town. It's amazing. Nature is one thing. Then the other thing I really like is the people. Paraguayan, they're here. When they talk to you, they're here. I've got like one experience which really touched me when I drove with a friend to Asunción. A Paraguayan wanted to cross the street in front of me, and I let him pass. I just showed him, you may pass. And he looked at me, and to me it was really touching, because this doesn't happen in Switzerland. People look at you and you feel they're here. They're in touch with you. They say thank you, and they look you in the eyes. Yes. So they're really living the moment. And in Switzerland, it's kind of more that you say hi, but you don't look at the other person. You don't even realize they're here. It's more kind of like a reflex. This is one of the things I really enjoy here with the people in Paraguay. Another thing is it's not as crowded as in Europe, and it's much cheaper. And you also notice that in the streets when you drive with your car. So it's just like you can drive. You're not always in a traffic jam. You don't. It's much easier, much more relaxing. Then another thing I really enjoy about Paraguay is that we've got different seasons. We have that in Switzerland as well. So you've got winter, which is really cold, summer, which is hot. But summer is here much warmer. Yeah, it goes up 40, sometimes 45 degrees, which is kind of like, yeah, a limit to me. There's also a challenge. Yes. But I really enjoy that we've got winter as well, like now, that you can sit in front of the fireplace. Sometimes it goes down to 0. You've got also spring and autumn. So I really enjoy that you've got these temperatures vary. Yeah. It's not always the same. So that's what I find, to me, is important, and I find this here in Paraguay. And this is another thing which I really enjoy in Paraguay, which is it's not a touristic country. So it's you can go to the waterfalls. This is a touristic place, but if you're a little bit outside, you really have to organize life yourself, and you also have to invest time to find the beautiful places, but they're not crowded. Yes. You can go to a beautiful place. I told you like the other day, that's also a place we could visit once, with an arch, just beautiful. You look over the whole land, and you're alone. Or when you go there in the middle of the week, you're alone. Yes. And there's so many things, so many places you can discover, and it's not yet touristic. Yes. This is, I love this. Nature and the possibilities to discover this land without having to run into tourists every now and then. Yeah. You've got a lot of freedom here. You can, for instance, decide if you want to have car insurance. You can decide if you want to have health insurance. You decide many, many things yourself. So we, for instance, checked if we want to go for health insurance or not, and we found out like there are a lot of things which are paid and a lot of things which are not paid. We decided, last but not least, we want to be responsible for our health ourselves. And if anything happens, we've got the money to pay it, and this is possible here. It doesn't cost that much as in Europe. It might be important for a lot of people with kids. It's up to them if they send them to school or not. And or if they teach them themselves, or they send them to a private school. It's many things. It's up to you of how you want to organize it. And I find this very valuable because it gives you really the freedom. It puts you in a place of where you can choose. There are quite a few challenges, and I would say it's like every day you're going to have to face a new challenge every day. One of the first challenges we had is transferring the money here to Paraguay. That was a big challenge. So me being Swiss, my girlfriend being German, for her it was a piece of cake. And for me, as a Swiss, they said like, you're on a blacklist. So you can't transfer any money. So Switzerland is on a blacklist, not me, right? So that's good. Yeah, Switzerland seems to be on a blacklist, and this made it difficult. So the first bank account I opened, they said like you've got a full bank account, you can do whatever you want. And then I asked, can I transfer the money? I gave them all the documents, everything. I asked again. It took 3 months, and they still didn't say yes. And then I went to another bank, and I got some help from someone, and then it took like a month until I got I was allowed to transfer money. And the second time I wanted to transfer money, it was a problem again, because they said, well, you only said once, right? Yeah. So it's transferring money here, you really have to invest some time and to be patient. So that was one of the biggest challenges. Another thing which comes to my mind for people who come here, at the beginning I got money, I withdrew money from the cash point machine, and you always have to pay like $5 every time you withdraw money. And I compared, how much money I got per Swiss franc in comparison to when I sent, a big amount of money. I transferred a big amount of money, and it was about the same. That was very interesting. So the fees you pay for every time you withdraw money is a lot, but you get a better rate of exchange.
Yes.
So it might be like that's also something you can't check everything beforehand, but I think it's a good thing to be aware of. You're going to lose money anyway. Another thing is lifestyle. Life is completely different here in Paraguay than back home in Switzerland or in Europe. There are many things. When like I said, you've got a lot of challenges. Every day there's something new. It starts with where you find certain things. In Switzerland, you get it in the supermarket. Here, if you want to get it, either you're going to have to do something special. For instance, I think Brenda said something. What kind of milk was that?
The different nut milks and things like that. You might need to Caacupe or something like that.
If you want to get like a special nut milk, you're going to have to go to Asunción sometimes, or into a bigger supermarket. Or if you want to go for organic food, my girlfriend is vegetarian, so if you want to go for organic stuff, you find it. But it takes more time to find those places, and especially at the beginning, this is a challenge of where do I find the stuff I really need? And on the other hand, it's also about getting accustomed to what you find here, because you find a lot of other things you didn't have back home.
That's right.
But you have to get to know them. And one thing which is also different here, you organize a lot, you invest much more time in organizing your life than back home. I think that's a big challenge too. You invest some time and then you find it.
Yes.
Or you ask people. Also the connection with people is here very important. In Switzerland, everything was organized very much over the internet. You typed it in Google and you ordered it. And here you can also type it into Google, or you type it into a Facebook marketplace and you find also a lot. But there's a lot, you find a lot here, or a lot of answers to your problems by talking to people. And that's a lot of time you have to invest. For instance, a good cheese, you don't find everywhere. Or a nice piece of bread. Swiss people love good bread. So you don't find it everywhere. We are lucky, we've got some friends just around the corner who bake their bread, and they make wonderful Swiss bread, or almost Swiss bread. Nice. And they also sell eggs and other stuff, like tomato butter. This is wonderful. But you have to organize those things. You have to find out where to go. Well, from my point of view, it's also an advantage having less things, because you're focused on living your life, and a lot of things I think were not even necessary. So how do you say, you live your life a little easier here, I think, than back home. And on the other hand, another thing I really enjoy here, you've got a lot of farmers around. Yeah. A lot of people who grow their fruit. And you can buy it for very little money. They are happy, you are happy. So this is something which is an experience which makes your life much richer, because this doesn't happen back home in Switzerland.
Yes.
In the beginning, it was kind of like you're interested in getting in touch with new people, and you've got a lot of questions. And you start to get in touch with a lot of people, and you collect a lot of information. And I would say even after 4 years, we know a lot how things are going on. But nevertheless, the a network of friends, of people, you know, who you could ask for certain things is very important here, much more important than in Europe. It's a wonderful thing. You have to invest that time, and you're going to benefit from it. It's important here. You have to invest a lot of time into that, into relationships, into people, but you also get a lot back. Think here in Paraguay, I think twice. You know, and for instance, in Germany or in Switzerland, you never buy a piece of land just by signing a private contract. So everything has to follow a protocol, and you know everything is going to be 100% correct. But I've heard from people who buy here a piece of land by trusting a landsman, you know, a person who comes from the same country as they did, and without checking anything.
Yes.
And of course, this can be something which doesn't turn out very, very good. I've heard from people who have made mistakes which were not actually necessary to make. And the main point I find is they have put trust into people in a way they would never have had put trust in their home country. So they've reacted here or acted here in a completely different way without checking anything. And when you don't check anything, when you don't use your common sense, of course, you run the risk of trapping into a trap.
Yes.
But one thing here is as well, you talk to people and you might ask one person, they might tell you an answer A. Then you talk to another person, you get a B. You talk to a third person, you get a C. All those answers might be 100% correct, might, right? But the point is, you're going to have to you have to use your brain in order to find out what really suits you, what is important to you. Because we've had so many times the situation where we got like 3 different answers and everything sounded like clear, 100% true. So you have to do a lot of your own thinking.
Yeah.
We bought like some banana plants, and the first person said, you're going to have to put them in the shade. So we planted those 6 plants all in the shade. It was like a week later, then someone said, no, they have to be in the sun. They're not going to have fruit, right? So we said, okay, what we're going to do? What is correct now? We don't know. So we changed like 3 in the sun, right? And it didn't take like another week, and someone said like, it must be like half shade and half sun. So we've got no clue.
Yeah.
So we planted 1 in half shade and 1. So it's kind of like we've got still no idea of what is really true.
Yeah.
But the banana story is kind of like makes you laugh. But there are also a lot of other subjects or a lot of other things you're going to be confronted in this country, which can cost a lot of money. And you still don't know what to do. So you have to think. It's not only trust other people, think yourself your way through. So it doesn't really matter like what people tell you, you have to make your thinking. Another thing which we found challenging was summer and humidity. Because summer temperatures go up to 40, sometimes even higher, and the humidity is sometimes 100%. When you don't have decent air conditioning, this is really a challenge. And air conditioning, should be powerful enough for the place you're having or the rooms you're having, right? So this is, and humidity, something you, especially the first 1 or 2 years, and even now, I think my girlfriend would even say nowadays, summer is a challenge for us.
And what else do you find challenging about your life here in Paraguay?
Another thing I find really challenging is staying healthy. Because in Switzerland, I was walking every day. So for an hour or so. And here, you've got also a lot of nature, but with the high temperature, with the high humidity, you tend to walk less. You tend to move less.
Okay.
So you really have to organize and that you move. So my girlfriend got a bike, a spinning bike, and we make yoga every day. And we also made like a pass on our property of 400 meters. We walk every day 3, 4, 5 times. So this helps you to move, because if you don't move, if you don't use your body, you're gonna get sick easily.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people who put on weight very fast, because this country is a lot about eating. And so if you don't move with this temperature, yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this country, you don't have a lot of people around you who motivate you to move, who say, let's go for a walk, let's do this, concerning moving or doing sports. So here it's more about, why don't you come over and drink a cup of coffee and eat some cake? It's less about moving here. So you really have to be aware that and invest time into your health, that you're moving and that you stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very much a come over and sit down and let's talk and
absolutely
eat asado and beer and whatever else they've got.
That's right.
Yeah, it is a bit of a trap. So with all that, what would you say you would do differently if you had your time over again? Have you done everything correctly, or are there things that you would change if you had to?
One thing I would do differently, I would rent longer a place and really get accustomed to the country. So finding out if that country suits me.
Yeah.
I would say we're lucky, because we are two people who like to learn things, who are not, let's say, stubborn and say, like, if we don't get this special product, so we get angry about it. So we always find a way of how we deal with those challenges. But I've seen a lot of people who went back to Germany because they had expectations and they had problems with how things are here. They're just different. Life is different. So I would, I would say, like, spending more time renting a place is an advantage. I also think, like, talking to people is an advantage. That's what we did. But I would, from today's point of view, I would rent longer and collect more information about the country, how things work here.
Can I ask, how long did you rent when you came here before you bought a property?
1 year.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was very important.
Yeah. And a lot of people might think that's a long time.
Yeah.
But we're in the same category as you. We've been here for a year, and we might be close to maybe purchasing something, but we have turned over a lot of rocks. We have done a lot of work to identify the areas that we like and so forth, but we're still on that journey. So, yeah.
I can also give, explain a little bit why I would rent longer, or what we've learned through renting. One thing we've learned, for instance, is how to that we need a lot of windows, that we can cross-ventilate the rooms, that you don't have any room with a dead end, because when you've got a room with a dead end, 100% you're going to have mold, because you've got a high humidity. We learned that we learned how to deal with people, because a Paraguayan in Paraguay, people don't know the word no in Guarani. So how they going to say no when they need no? They don't say no. They've got an excuse, or they tell you a lie. It's not even something bad for them, but it's not that they want to cheat on you, but it's just they don't know how to express it differently. And you're going to find out a lot of how to deal with people when you rent longer, because you get in touch with more people. You see how things work here. You make really less mistakes when you rent longer, because you learn from those people who have built their houses. You see what's wrong there, or how you could improve it. One of the things we're having here was the fireplace. The first year we were really freezing in winter. We didn't expect it to be real cold. And here you start freezing much earlier. So with 10 degrees you think like, hey, is it cold? You're freezing your butt off. And back home in Switzerland, 10 degrees is nothing. It's nothing.
Yes.
And it's also like the windows you're having. It's not, you don't have like 2 windows, and it's not necessary to have 2 glasses besides each other. It's, from our point of view, one is fair enough. The way they built the house is here, but nevertheless, you should have like heating possibilities. You should have cooling possibilities which are sufficient enough in summer. How to build a wardrobe that you don't get mold. This kind of things. So these are just a few things you come across, and there are many more. A lot of things are tiny little details. When you know it, it's not. It doesn't cost you much to realize that, but when you forget it, it costs you a lot of money to correct it.
See.
How do I deal with ants? How do I deal with all those animals which live in this country?
And it's a very good point that you make, is that it can cost you a lot of money to overlook these, what we would consider to be kind of minor points. Like if I was to say to somebody it's a really big deal about where you put your wardrobe or your clothes closet, a lot of people are like, well, why? Well, because now your house has got this permanent fixture of mold, and it's a real issue now. And I think it's a really good point that you make, that we can kid ourselves that we are reading the environment and the play better than what we are. And it really is something that we need to always remind ourselves of, that we're in a different place. Everything works differently, or most things, including the weather and the pests and the rodents and anything else that can get at you. So you need to learn those local lessons or pay the price.
That's right. Therefore, I think it's important investing that time.
So because you have such an eye for detail when it comes to such things, it's probably good that you actually have a place to rent. And I think while we're here, I'd like to check that out, if that's okay. I understand you've put quite a bit of time and thought and effort into making that accommodation nice and comfortable. We do have people from time to time who are looking for a nice place to stay, and you so happen to have a place. It's a beautiful part of the world, and I think it's a very good place to be while you're maybe getting your legs and finding your way here in Paraguay.
That's right.
Thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us.
Yes.
You are a very well-established person here. We are watching very carefully what you've done here, and just the way that you've structured your operation and built your place. You've done it with a level of organisation that we're really going to learn from, and I think that you're a good person to know, so I'm glad we ran into you just by chance in a cafe a couple of weeks ago. We just started talking rubbish because you've got a big, beautiful dog. But that's the way things roll in Paraguay, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
So, hey, thanks again.
Thank you, Adam.
Take care. Ciao.